This video is so important. This is going to be my second attempt reacting to this video. Now, the reason why it's my second attempt is because the first time, the audio was all fuzzy. I'm listening to the playback and it's fading out, it's crackling and that. There was something wrong with the mic. And now that I've got a better mic on my headset, I'm going to react to this video for a second time because it's just too important to skip out. Losers and the women who love them. Now, when I was younger, when I was on the road, when I was a bum, when I had nothing going for me, man always had gal. I'm not saying I had 10 girls beating down my door. I'm not saying man was having threesomes or nothing like that, but I always had a ting, yeah? Never had a full-time proper girlfriend, but I always had a ting here and there, you know what I mean? Like, man would be on no droughts or nothing like that. And it was crazy, like, when I was a bum, when I didn't have my life in order, when I was a joke, man, when I had nothing going for me, man had gal about. But then, fast forward a couple years later, when I get my life in order, it's like all the gal them disappear. It's like, it's kind of hard to link gal nowadays. Gal are moving a bit different towards man. I just kind of thought, it's just one of them things there, you know what I'm saying, innit? Never really gave it too much thought until later on in life. And then I started watching content creators. Man from different walks of life. Man that looked different. Andrew Tate, he said like, yeah, when he was younger, when he was a kickboxer, when he was broke, he was beating down women, chopping down women left, right and center. He then went on to say in one of his interviews and that, it's like, yeah, when you get money, life becomes a bit harder with women. Just a little bit because now they think you're after something and that. It's not that. Even AMS, the GOAT, he was saying that when he was in the dirty basement, when he was a bum, when he was broke, when he was making $15 an hour as a security guard, he was chopping them down left, right and center when he was in the basement. Fast forward a few years later when he's rich, when he's a quote-unquote high-value man, he said, yeah, he's only banging like 4 chicks a year. Now, he's putting it down to like, it's because he's on his grind and that. It's not that. Even one random white youth, he said before university and that, or even when he was in university, when he wasn't focused on his studies and that, he was getting bare girls. But then after university, when he graduated and he's in a full-time job and, he's doing well in life, the girls then dried up. And I was thinking like, why the hell is it when a man improves his life, when a man starts to become at least quote-unquote a high-value male, why is it a little bit difficult for him? Obviously, watching other content creators and that, like, I came to the conclusion like, women want a man they can fix. Women want a broken man. But even though that's the conclusion, I still wanted to understand, like, the science behind it. Like, what is it about a guy that's a bum or a loser, why a woman gravitates towards him more than a guy who is a complete man? So anyway, I decided to go onto YouTube and I typed in why women love bums. And I knew, it wasn't going to be from some well-known content creator. It weren't going to be from Andrew Tate or AMS or Fresh and Fit or any of them man there. They weren't going to give me the answer that I was looking for, like why women truly love bums. Like, what is it? Like, what's the science behind it? I knew it was going to be some unknown YouTuber. I knew the video was going to be really old. And I finally found it. Big up Scott Garrett or Jarrett. He breaks down this thing. Let's go.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Scott Garrett's Show. I'm calling this show Losers and the Women That Love Them. Now, this is a show that I did a little research on, and in that research, I found some very interesting things that kind of hit me like a ton of bricks because I've done other shows and we talk about bad boys and why women love bad boys and things like that. And so you've heard all of those things, how the bad boy is exciting and all those types of things that once you reach a certain age really start to seem very foolish. Well, what troubled me about the whole thing is that it's one thing if there's a particular type of woman that you can pinpoint specifically that has some flaw.
I.e., a working class black woman that comes from a single parent household.
And that's the reason why she likes these kind of men, because she's just a flawed individual, and no matter how much success she has, she's just going to have a natural attraction to that kind of man. That's kind of the pervasive thought about it. But my question that I had to keep asking myself was, most of these women, or a lot of them, are successful, intelligent, and beautiful. So why in the world would they want to date someone who's none of those things, that you consider a scrub or a loser? When you can't find specific similarities in the type of people that have a certain type of behavior, when it crosses all types of lines, ethnic and financial and socioeconomic, when it crosses...
What he's trying to say is, when you're finding Indian women gravitating towards the same men, black women gravitating towards the same men, white women gravitating towards the same men, women who are not just working class, women that are also middle class, women that are uneducated, women who are also educated, you're like, yo, this is like a worldwide problem. Yeah? Like, it has to be something more than environmental, because the environment can't affect all these women if they're from different parts of the world, different mindsets, different cultures, different upbringings and that. It must be a deep-rooted psychological thing.
All those types of lines, there's something different going on with that behavior. When it doesn't have a set of circumstances that can be attributed to it, then there must be some reward that the person is getting consciously or subconsciously from being a part of a self-defeating behavior, which is really what it is. So there's some type of reward that these women are getting for being a part of these types of relationships. Now, I was reading a study, and what the study did was it took a group of couples, and it had the men be electrically shocked while either their wife or girlfriend held their hand or didn't hold their hand. And then they had the women hooked to MRIs or to watch their brain activity as these things were being done. What it showed was when the women held their man's hand and he was being shocked, she had increased brain activity in the pleasure centers of her brain. Now, on first analysis, I thought, wow, makes a lot of sense. This is why women have caused me so much heartache in my life. Or why women cause so much heartache, because they get a pleasure from it. That analysis was wrong and very premature. Really, as they delved a little deeper into the study, what it showed was that a person who is giving comfort receives pleasurable impulses in the pleasure centers of their brain even more than the person being comforted.
So if you ever wonder why did these chicks date these bum-ass loser waste men? This is the reason why. This is the reason why a lot of women that you will meet, whether it was your mom, auntie, sister, female neighbors, female colleagues and that, this is the reason why they say all the men that I meet seem to be waste men. All the men that I seem to meet seem to be losers. All the men, I always go for the worst ones and that. It's because they're attracted to guys that need fixing, because when they help them, then they get a source of pleasure. They get a sense of pleasure from helping these guys. And the guys that don't need fixing, the guys that are like pretty much complete, they're invisible. They're like trees. They're just invisible. Unfortunately, this is the way women are built. You know, a lot of the world's problems would be completely solved. A lot of the world's problems would not happen if they were the opposite. Guys that are problematic, guys that have issues, guys who need fixing, they're invisible. And the guys that are complete men that don't need no help or nothing like that, they're the ones that are more desirable. Yo, a lot of the world's problems will be fixed. But I want you to look at every guy that's in a relationship with a gal, or look at every chick and look at her boyfriend. and just ask yourself, is this guy like a problematic person? I'm not saying a criminal. It's not nothing to do with being a bad man or nothing like that, or a drug dealer or whatever. But is this individual, are they a problematic person? Do they have their life in order? Would you want to trade places with them? Forget about the way they look. Would you want to walk in their shoes? Would you want to live their life if you had a second chance at life? If you got sent on a first class ticket to heaven, would you want to be in their situation? Would you want to live their reality? The answer is no, pretty much. So, for the most part, every chick that you will meet, if you look at the guy, he will fit that archetype. He's not the sort of guy that you would want to be. I mean, you might be that guy right now. So, do you know what? Yeah, you might be able to look at a certain man or a certain gal and their boyfriend and not see anything wrong with him. Yeah, it's because you're that guy. Yeah, it's because you're that guy. You're a problematic man that's incomplete. Yeah, you're broke. You ain't got no money. No one else will want to be you. So that's why you can't see it. Yeah.
So to comfort somebody was once thought a benefit to the person being comforted, but now they show that the person doing the comfort benefited just as more than the person being comforted. So when the ladies didn't touch their mates or their husbands and showed no support, there was no increased brain activity. So no support, no brain activity. Support, a ton of brain activity. Now, if you don't understand the connection yet, I'll make it even clearer. Here's the connection. When a woman meets a loser, and he's a man with no car, no job, no home, none of those things,
they think, right, something to work on. Women are like these mechanics that don't know what the fuck they're doing. They take on work, which is a man, try to fix the problem, but the job never gets done. The car is still broken. You know, like that guy that lives on your estate that's been fixing that car for about 3 years. One of them sort of people there, yeah? It's like the builder that don't never complete the fucking construction work on his own house. That's me, yeah? So, yeah, they try to fix these guys, but they don't end up fixing them. It's like they're unqualified mechanics. Don't know what the fuck they're doing. Yeah, I remember I saw a bit on YouTube the other day. Oh, yeah, that time when the recovery man came and done a little temporary fix on my car, I learned a lot. So, yeah, I'm a mechanic now.
He needs her support. And because he needs her support, it stimulates her brain activity in the pleasurable regions of her brain. Now, think about the time when you've introduced somebody to a really good guy. He's got a home, he's got a car, he's got a great job, he may not have any kids.
So obviously I basically fit all of that. I got my own home, car, no kids and that, I got my life in order. There's certain chicks, obviously there's going to be chicks that are going to want me definitely, but there's going to be a good few chicks who will be like, nah, not interested. They don't even know why. They'll be like, okay, he's good looking, yeah, he's got money, he's got his own properties and that, he's got his own car, he ain't got no kids and that, but I'm still not interested. It's because of that. There's nothing to fix. I've seen it on Pop the Balloon. There was this guy, yeah, no homo, good looking guy, had his own money, had his own house, got a car, whatever, and I don't know what car it is, but it probably wasn't no rundown piece of shit Honda that I used to have. It probably had windows that went down and aircon that worked, so it was a functional car. All the chicks, they rejected him, and they didn't even know why. Two of the chicks, yeah, said, "You're a great guy and that, but I don't know." The I don't know is there's nothing to fix. I guarantee you that same guy, if he looked the same, but if he was like, listen, I don't know, I don't even know if there's any point in me being on this show right now because I've got a little court case and I could be looking at 2 years. And certainly you lot will think, yeah, this because they like bad boys. No. It's not they like criminals. A lot of men who are bad, a lot of men that ain't got that are, on the wrong path, it's because they ain't got nothing going on in their life and they need fixing. So that's why the women like them and that. Yeah, it's got nothing to do with, the only way you're going to get a gal is if you're a bad boy and that. No, you can just be a bum and get gal, because girls want to fix you. I believe women want to be the providers for men. I believe as long as, you know, you're somewhat attractive and that, and I'm not saying looks is the be all and end all and that, but what I'm saying is, I reckon, as long as you're somewhat attractive and that, if a woman's got her own house, her own car, and she's a top high earner, let's say she earns 120 grand a year and she's sensible with her money, I reckon she will move a man into her house and he doesn't have to contribute and do nothing. Obviously, if she's struggling for bills and that, then she's going to need his help. But I guarantee you, yeah, if you met a woman that's on 200 grand a year and she's sensible with her money, because it doesn't matter how much you earn. If you spend more than you earn, then you're going to be in problems. If you met a woman, if a woman was out there and she earned 200 grand a year and she was sensible, had her own car, house, don't need to worry about bills and that, always had 2-3 grand expendable cash and that, as long as the guy's good looking, you can move into a house. They don't care. They don't care about what you have to offer financially and that. A woman will take care of a man. They will. Just look at all the chicks that you know. Look at their boyfriend. Look at their man. What's he doing? He ain't helping her. If anything, he's more of a burden to her. She's trying to run a race and he's like the extra 20 kg that she don't need. He's a fucking spare tire in her car that don't work. Yeah, he's a spare square tire in the back of her car. Just look at the man them that are with these chicks. Look at the chicks that you know. Look at their boyfriend. Useless.
And she's just as unimpressed as a person can be with those things. She tries logically because everybody is saying, look, he's got all these things, all these attributes that any woman should want. But she can't make herself attracted to that man. The only thing she can talk about is, you know, how tall he isn't, how she doesn't like the way he pronounces her name or how outdated his style is. And then she always throws the B word. He's boring. You know, he's nice, but he is boring. And what you're really saying is he doesn't give me that brain release that a loser gives me because I don't need to support that man. Now, you introduce that same woman to a 4-time divorced, 8 kids, no job having, no home, and fully irresponsible man, and the attraction is instant.
Bingo!
Why? Why logically would that attraction be instant? It's hard to figure out, or it was before this, because I could never figure that out. Now I understand that she's getting something from it. The reward is not something you can see, but it's a chemical reaction going on in the pleasure regions of her mind, is what she's getting from having this loser depend on her and her essentially holding his hand through life. Stability and priorities, they don't allow you the ability to go through that release of great chemicals in your mind. When I talk to these women and they have this bad boy theory or this boring guy theory, I ask them some logical questions. And the first question that I ask is, okay, is it logical? Because as we've talked, is it logical for you to be happy that you're waiting for a phone call? He said you were going to call. He said he was going to call you at this time, and he hasn't called, and it's been hours. Is that logical? Is that something that makes you consciously happy? They say no. Well, how about getting calls from other women? When these other women call you and say your man is at their house or your man was or they're pregnant with your man's baby, does that give you happiness? And they say no. Okay. How about loaning money that he's not going to pay you back? No. Well, how about the fact that he's had your car and then won't accept your phone calls? Does that make you happy? No, it doesn't. Does it make you happy to have an adult live with you without contributing financially? And they say no again.
The craziest thing is, yeah, I actually thought about this like a year ago. When I met my first girlfriend, obviously I was 19, I went to court to go and link my brethren. Maybe I was 18, but I was turning 19 like the following week. My brother was in court. I weren't working. I was on the road. You get me? Wheeling and dealing, not making any money. Just basically a bum. I met the girl at court, spoke to her, got her number, and then we hit it off. Shortly after we hit it off, I got an apprenticeship, became an electrical apprentice. You know, I thought to myself about a year ago, and it's stuck with me since. I reckon we'll never know because we don't have crystal balls and we can't go back in time and play out alternative realities. But I reckon if I was a stable man or young man, if I had an apprenticeship, if I had a job, if I was not on the road and on the right path, I don't think we would ever have got together. I don't think she would have been interested, you know. Same person, same personality. But I just think because I was on the road doing nothing with my life, I think that's the reason why she was interested. Truly believe that. Truly, we'll never know. But I truly believe if we went back in time, if we met 2 months later and it was the same situation, she was single, whatever and that, if I just had that apprenticeship and I was on the right path, I don't think she would have been interested. I think chicks, they want some sort of like maybe caveman or something like that.
So logically, they understand that all the things that this bad boy or this loser has are not things that make them consciously happy, but they can't figure out why they're still with him. And that's because a woman gets or these type of women, they get a reward from taking care of losers, and it's the same reward and it's the same chemical release in the region of the brain that responds to chocolate, sex, and money. So when you're in these situations or you know a woman in these situations, take a little more thought about what you're doing. I won't say logic because the fact that you're in a relationship already defies logic. But now, understand that you are getting a reward from this relationship. So when you're crying to people and you're explaining what he's done and how bad it is, part of what you're doing is rewarding yourself again for being with this man or being with this woman.
I remember one time, I was at my old house and I was telling Nadia like the best technique to do some cleaning or whatever in it. And she just stood there and looked at me right in my face in my kitchen. She was like, no, this is crazy. I'm supposed to be the one that's telling you, Jay, how to do this and how to do that. Yeah, because women, they want to be in a position where it's like, I think women, they want to mummy a man. I even saw it the other day in Screwfix. There was this young couple, they're like 21 years old. This youth, with his girlfriend, is in Screwfix. They're talking about buying some boots and that. And I can't remember what they were talking about, but something along the lines of, don't worry, it's all right. It's all right, don't worry. We're going to sort out the boots. We're going to get you the right size boots. What size do you boots you want to get? Size 10? They want a man that they can mummy. It's got nothing to do with bad man or drug dealer. Obviously, there are some chicks that like bad man and drug dealer and that. But what I'm saying is, most chicks want a man that they can just mummy. Yeah? And a lot of men want a chick that can mummy them. So they work out fine.
Understand that when you want better things, you make better choices. People ask me, what do I do? What would you do in this situation? And the first thing I say to them is, there are some situations that there are solutions for.
My solution to this situation is because, like I said, a lot of chicks will look at me and think, nah, there's nothing to fix. Yeah, this guy is not perfect, but you understand, too perfect. Like there's nothing to fix. It's a class thing. Working class girls, me and them won't go together. The only chick that would really take me on, is a chick that's like a posh chick, because I will come across a bit too, I will be more like a caveman. Yeah. Put it this way, if a chick is more rough around the edges than you, it's not gonna work. You need to be more rough around the edges than her. If you've got your life in order, you got your finances in order, your life is running smoothly, you got a good job, good car, your own property and that, Yo, you're not problematic enough for a working class girl. You're doing better than her. Yeah. So the only chick, yeah, that can, I don't want to say look down on you, but you have to be more rough around the edges. Put it this way, I don't even smoke or drink. Girls laugh, you know, when I tell them I don't smoke or drink. They say, oh, you're one of the good ones. I'm not one of the good ones. You just date trash. If a girl is more rough around the edges than me, or I'm more smoother and polished than them, it's not going to work. I need to find a girl who is more smoother and polished around the edges than me. If a chick is more animalistic and rough around the edges than me, it's not going to work. And funny enough, the chick that I'm with, she's more smoother and polished around the edges, yeah. I'm more rough around the edges than her, and funny enough, yeah, like, you know, the chick that I would need to find that would take me on is a posh chick, and Nadia is a posh chick. My girl is a posh girl. People have heard us be like, yo, she sounds posh than that. So that's what it is, man. Man, if you got your lives in order and that, you can't deal with no working class girls. You have to go and find yourself a posh girl.
Typically, matters of the heart, there's no one who can solve a matter of the heart for you, because it's your heart. What I tell them is, a wise man doesn't travel the path of a fool. And what that means is, I wouldn't get myself into certain situations because I know that there isn't a clear and concise answer to get out. So don't get into these types of relationships. And if you find that you are, and it's happening over and over, take a step back. Take a step back and think about what you're doing before you do it, and assess. And maybe write down, because a lot of times if you write things down, it looks a lot different to you. Write down what this man has that you like. Write down what this woman has that you like. And then when you look at it on paper, sometimes you can look at that and it'll tell you, I'm not making a good decision. Or if you look down on the paper and there's nothing there besides surface level things like, well, he looks great, he has a lot of swag, things that are stupid like that, then that may send you in another direction, and you will find, instead of a boy with swag, you will find a man with priorities. Thank you, and look forward to my next show on surviving divorce and coming out the other side, a 4-part series.
Like I said, the solution is, if you're a man that's got his life in order, you got your own house, own car, good job, your life is running smoothly, you're not a problematic individual, you're an upstanding member of the community, young men should aspire to be like you, you're not going to fit well with working class girls. You need to go for a girl that is more smoother and polished around the edges. You need to be, as a man, more rough around the edges than the girl. You need to go for a posh girl, basically. And funny enough, the chick that I'm with, because I'm a man, I got my life in order, I got my own car, got a good job, got multiple streams of income, I'm a landlord, I'm an upstanding member of the community, somewhat. Young men want to be like me. And funny enough, the chick that I'm with, she's a posh girl. So, what I'm saying, my theory is correct. You have to, if you're a man that's got a life in order, you have to go for a girl who is more posher than you. Yeah, you can't be around the chick. You can't be a man, yeah, that doesn't indulge in any vices and that, but then your chick indulges in bunny weed and all these vices. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Obviously, there are some chicks that will date guys that got their life in order and they're not looking for a guy to fix. But that's 20%. I think 80% of women, they want a guy that they can fix. Anyway, man, that's it for today, man. Stay wise. Ton, man.